Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This is truly my last video for tonight. A lot of things happen to us in life. And as an emotional artist and a street fighter, I have had to learn how to not so much say pick my fights wisely, but know how to skirt around things. Alright? So in my last video, I made a comment about me being mixed and people not sure if I'm black or if I was Mexican or if I was Native American. These things have gotten me in and out of so much shit in life. So I thought I'd give you guys another story. And this is a funny story. It's not a violent story, it's a funny story. Alright? I think I just cussed, so I got to make sure that I don't put this video as for kids. So a long time ago, and I want to say about this time. No. Maybe? I'm not sure. But I will say that it was in Florida. So my second father, Rick James Shiflett, God rest his soul, we decided we're going to Florida. Well, he decided we're going to Florida. I was like, okay, I don't know about this, but, you know, we went to Florida. And it was cool. We had a fun time. So, while in Florida, we went to a Taste of China. It was not too far from Disneyland. It basically was the Chinese version of Disneyland, only more historical stuff. They did historical shows and shit like that. Fawn, wherever you are, Fawn's got to be a grown lady by now, because she was like 6 years old, and I'll be 47 really soon. I think I was like 24, 23. I was really young. So anyway, which means Fong's definitely probably a grown woman, probably married with kids now. Hi, Fong. Anyway, she was 6 at the time. So, we went down there, and this guy who used to work for Disney, or his son, somebody he knows used to work for Disney. And he, for the lack of a better term, didn't know what my race was. So him and Rick, they're talking their asses off. And they're talking about Chinese people. Not in a positive light, but not so much in a negative light, but not in a positive light. Kind of one of those sorry, not sorry conversations. And so while he's talking, and he's like 20 minutes into this conversation, he's really, really talking. And I'm just right in his face. I'm like, right like we are now. I'm looking at him, and I'm right in his face. And he's looking at me. He looks at Rick. He looks at me. And he's still talking about Chinese people in a negative light. You know? And I'm smiling my ass off. Not because I'm mad. I'm a little peeved because I have mad respect for China and Chinese people, and I have some Chinese friends. So I'm a little peeved. But I'm not so pissed off because, you know, everybody's different and everybody perceives people different, which we'll get to in a minute. He's just going at it. Talking about the Chinese people and who's paying his check, you know. So they all really must not have spoken English very well, or like Margaret Cho says, sometimes they speak English better than most Americans, and you just don't fucking know it because they play the dumb China role. Okay, hopefully that didn't offend anybody Chinese or Asian in general, but I've known some Asians that fake like they don't know English very well. You know you are. Anyway, so he's talking about Chinese people. He's talking about him. And then all of a sudden, he stops. And he looks dead in my face and says, "Oh my God, are you part Chinese?" I bust out laughing. And this is before I knew that Native Americans were actually Asian. I bust out laughing so hard. I said, "Dude, I'm part Cherokee Indian. And I'm part black and I'm part white. I'm definitely not Chinese." He's like, "Oh God, you know, for a minute there, I thought you were going to go over there and tell those guys that I was talking bad about them." And I said, "Dude, I have to tell you, if anything, those Chinese guys probably already know you're talking about them. They're just not giving a damn because they're rehearsing for their show. They have better things to do than worry about some Guai Jin or Guai Lo guy talking about them." Is it, "Oh, you know Chinese and Japanese?" I said, "I know certain words and what they mean, but fuck no, I don't know that shit. I don't speak Cantonese. I don't speak Mandarin. I don't speak South, damn it, I used to know the word, now I don't. I don't speak Japanese. I know like maybe 5 or 6 words in Japanese, and I think I can count to 10. I can't count to anything in Chinese, and I only know how to say ni hao and xie xie. I don't know how to say I need to go take a piss, because I need to learn these things before I ever go to China. But, or at least learn the calligraphy so that I don't go into the women's bathroom by mistake, because those things can happen. Now, stupid American. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I'm not Chinese. He commenced to go on and finish talking negative about Chinese people after that. And it's like, okay. But it wasn't like he was like verbally insulting them or assaulting them. He was just saying his truth and how sometimes when he works with the Chinese people, they weren't up to his standard of whatever the fuck the conversation was. And I'm like, hey man, we're all just human beings. We're all here in this together. So, it doesn't matter what age or race or something somebody is. It's just that we all have to find a way to get along. He's like, yeah, I'm glad you see it that way. I was like, yeah, see, I also don't work here. So I don't judge you because I don't know the shit that these Chinese people are doing to you when we leave. We just came here because I like Kung Fu. And I didn't know until that day that the Triton technically was a martial art weapon. I just thought that shit was some shit Aquaman had. But apparently the Triton is a Kung Fu weapon, so who knew? I didn't, but I learned that day. I never brought that back up, because the only Chinese weapons that I prefer when it comes to spears and shit was the Quan Do, the Majestic Spear, the Monkey Stick, the spear with the spiky thingy. All the spears have different names, but their Majestic Spear is the main spear with the tassel and all that shit. But anyway, we all got a good laugh out of it. I actually got to see Fong go past me to go do her little thing because she was like the main attraction or whatever. Again, hi Fong. But anyway, I don't even know if Taste of China still exists down in Orlando, but it was fun while we were there. We didn't stay for the show because we had to go, and then we wound up going to like Universal Studios right there after or the next day or some shit like that. And I did a lot of training in the swimming pool. But outside of that, I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So now let me go back to what I wanted to touch on. Alright, first and foremost, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your gender is. Everybody's going to talk about you on some level or another. Some of it is not going to be great. Some of it is not going to be not great. But you need to be able to accept it and have an adult mentality to know I can deal with this in a peaceful manner or I can be a dick. So don't be a dick. Just deal with it and, tolerate what you can tolerate. And if it gets too offensive, speak on it. I'm highly offended that you said that. I try my best not to offend people here if I can help it. But again, this happened before I found out that Native Americans were Asian. Because at this time, I'm still believing Native Americans came from Atlantis. Henceforth the Trident, henceforth Aquaman and Namor. So when I seen the guy working at Trident, I was like, in all my martial arts training, I've never seen a goddamn Trident. But yeah, people will tend to perceive things differently. And he may not have been saying nothing that those Chinese people that work there haven't already thought. It's like, we gotta deal with this guy, and we don't really like Guaylos, but he's really good at his job, so we're going to let the Guaylo stay there. And if they'd have been Japanese, they would have said Gaijin. It means the same damn thing. Or at least from what I was taught, it means the same damn thing. I don't know how they say it in Korea or Vietnamese, but Native Americans call Europeans paleface. So, therefore, I've just offended white people like 3 times in 2 different languages. 3 languages if you count the Native American stuff. But when it comes down to stuff like this, we all have to understand one thing. If I prick my finger right now, the blood's going to be fucking red. If you prick your finger right now, the blood's going to be red. Do not do that. I was not suggesting that at all. But at the same time, you're not aware of these things, then you probably should be. But if you are aware of these things, you can't take them too seriously because it will probably fuck you up. Okay, so let me finish this video now. Alright, you have to understand the way the world works. And the way the world works is really simple. Sometimes we have to grin and bear with stuff that we don't want to deal with. Me being mixed, I have to deal with a lot more than you guys think, and damn it if I'm not going to have to make another video about being mixed. And that will be my final video for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. BCMU.